right, here we go. Oh gosh, hold on. Sorry, my mic fell. Hey Jabbers, we are back with another episode, and this week Gabby and I are just chatting, and we are touching base on a mid-year reset. So we did this last year, and you guys seem to really love the episode. So we're gonna kind of start off with a vibe check, see how things are going with Gabby and I, talk about our wins, things that are maybe a little messy, not going great. Um, some things that we're going to let go of this year, and then also sort of just how we're resetting to finish out the rest of 2025 and whether, mostly business stuff, but if we have some personal stuff within that, great. But yeah, we're just kind of going to share what's going on in our businesses, and hopefully us sharing will kind of help our jabbers to feel like, in community with us and they don't feel as alone in this entrepreneurial journey. So, yeah, Gabby, let's kick it off. How are you feeling right now? What's going on? Are you burnt out? Are you feeling inspired? Meh, what's going on? I feel like I kind of know because Gabby texted me the other day and was like, I'm manifesting a lot, so get ready. And I was like, okay, I got to change my mindset because Gabby is like feels up high and I'm a little down low. But let's hear what you have to how you're feeling, Gabby.
You're right. You're right that I'm in a very manifesting mode only because I feel like I had to just hit the bottom and I was like, okay, this is obviously not working if I'm just sitting here sulking. To give a quick recap, everyone remembers that in April of this year, 2025, I had an abusive client that really sent me off the cliff. I just spiraled mentally and emotionally and just made me doubt everything. And even though I've had decades of experience, I just felt like super insecure all the time and very, very anxious. I got through it. We talk about it in a few other past episodes. I got through it. I survived. I came out with a few bumps and bruises, feel emotionally, but it made me stronger and it made me just think like enough of letting people walk all over me. Being a people pleaser is not necessarily a positive thing when we are in the hospitality industry because it's easy for us to just get crushed in this way. So I kind of felt that a lot this year where I'm like really big on boundaries right now, and just standing up for myself. Now, on the flip side, if you guys are a Substack subscriber, which you absolutely should be, and the link is always in the show notes, but I recently wrote a Substack post about how I have one single wedding booked for 2026, and we are recording this in July of 2025, and I am just about to pass out from nerves of is my business literally crumbling? Is this it? Is this the end of Cause We Can events in 2025? And so I go through these phases, and I think we all do in the summer when nobody's booking because God forbid people go on vacation and they don't book their wedding planner. And I panic every year. And I decided, obviously, fearing no more, like fearing running out of money, fearing not getting enough bookings is only going to make me attract more of that fear. Like if it's all I think about all the time, it is not getting me anywhere. So that's when I texted Kari and I was like, all right, buckle up. We are manifesting. We are changing our mindset. We are thinking big picture. We are not afraid to be rich. We are not afraid to be wealthy. We are wealthy girls with big ambitions, and we want this podcast to bring in money. We want our businesses to succeed. And we don't know what that looks like yet. And I think Kari and I both want to step away from probably the day to day in the business and wedding planning stuff. But like, we can grow it. We can still be an amazing brand and not be in the business all the time. So I'm holding this up right now. I have a little notebook that I
I got the
started.
same
It,
one.
do you actually?
Yeah, I do. Let me see if
It's
I have
well, you need to bring it up and you need to make this your money and manifestation journal. Oh my God,
it.
Carrie.
Pull it right here.
If this isn't meant to be, I don't know
My
what
gosh,
is.
yeah, half of it's blank, so I can use the
Perfect.
other.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, this is now your money and manifestation journal. And
For those of you that can't see, Gabby and I have the exact same like little mini notebook journal.
it's literally same color, same everything, same brand, same
Yeah,
pattern.
love it.
So anyway, long story short, every day I write the date and I put money in and then
Okay.
an abundance line. And so the abundance line can be anything. Like, for example, the other day on July 5th, I wrote money in $1,600. I sold my old car that
Okay.
the
Yeah,
engine wasn't working, but some guy came and bought it for 1,600. So that's money in.
of
And the
course.
abundance and the abundance line is that I got on a preferred vendor list by simply chatting with the venue manager and asking and just sharing that I was hoping to book more in Nashville and I'm close enough with this person that they're like, "Hey, we'll just add you to the list." I'm like, "That is a win. That is
Yeah,
abundance right there."
I love
So
it.
every day, find money in. It could be a penny you find on the ground. It can be a client payment that even though you know it's scheduled and it's coming in, have write that down because at the end
Mhm.
of like the month, it's going to be so fun to be like, oh my God, I had so much more coming in. It could even be someone giving you a Starbucks gift card. Like it can,
Yeah.
any type of kind of financial gain in that sense. And then just a quick line of abundance, like how are other ways that you got abundance today? It could literally be you had a babysitter come and take your baby for an hour and you got to go run errands or go to the gym or do whatever. So
Yeah.
that is essentially the mindset I have reshifted. And I think this is a much more positive conversation for me than it is looking back at last year's mid-year slump. Like I was very much feeling defeated, I think, last year. But I'm trying to, even though I'm in a very similar situation this year, I am trying to change my mindset.
I love it. Well, and I also feel like Gabby texted me about this after a weekend where, well, we launched our Substack the week before. And after that weekend, we had actually gotten a few people who wanted to sponsor an episode. I think like two people that wanted to sponsor. We got a paid subscriber on Substack. We had random people starting to
Yay.
follow us on Substack. And so I was like, yeah, Gabby really did some manifesting over the weekend and it paid off. Like we were seeing money come in. And I think it kind of just like shows the power of that. But it's cool to like see those immediate things happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And I really do believe it's all about vibration. Like whatever the you believe out there, religious or not, there is some type of like
Yeah.
vibration and people want to be surrounded by people whose energy and excitement is higher, right? And that's just you want to support those people. And so, yeah, anyway, I'm like very excited. I'm not living in fear about running out or lack. I guess I'm not living in lack is the best way to put it. I'm just trying to live in abundance as much as possible. And it doesn't mean that things aren't hard. Like sometimes it does hurt to be like, oh my God, payroll's coming up. Are we doing it? But it always ends up working out in the end. So I'm just more
Yeah.
like excited to see what happens because every day I kind of wake up being like, cannot wait to see what kind of money comes in today and what kind of surprise I'm going to get in terms of abundance. So yeah, that's a quick little snippet.
It's a good like way to kick off your day versus being like, ugh, another day, like don't have any money, whatever it is
Yeah.
that you're feeling negative about.
Yeah.
How do you feel? I guess you mentioned one wedding booked for next year. Is that typical for this time of year for you? Are you usually like, I have 10 booked already? Like what does it feel like?
Yeah, it feels very low. That being said, I don't know that I have 10 usually. I could probably have 5 maybe.
Okay.
Um But I was talking to a couple other planner friends who have either 0 or 1 to 2, and they said let's remember that this is typically our slowest season and that last year they remembered that all of a sudden in the fall people were booking like crazy even for next spring, which feels like a very short time. But I will be honest, I kind of like the idea, even for full service planning, more and more, I'm liking having less time just because clients sit on decisions for so long these days that it's really does us a disservice to plan for for too
Yeah.
long. Have you found that too?
Yeah, I enjoy the shorter time frames. I think it just is like a quicker, yeah, decision making process. And then I don't know, it's like a shorter amount of time that you make a decent amount of money too.
Yeah.
So,
True.
but yeah, I think sometimes for me, like the year plus is just like such a long relationship to have and like a wedding to focus on. Even if the client's great, it's just like at some point you're kind of like, all right, let's get this show on the road type of thing because you just feel like you're doing it for so long. So even though a lot of clients panic about the shorter time frame, I'm like, let's do it. We
Yeah.
got it. Like it's totally fine.
Same. Yeah. How are you feeling this year, Carrie? Like, we've obviously talked about it a little bit throughout the episodes, but give us a run through of the last 6, 7 months.
Yeah. I would say it's been an interesting year. I mean, being a new mom and like staying home with her pretty much full time and like still running a business is not for the faint of heart. Um, it's a lot of late nights, honestly, and I think for me it's a whole like new balance, right? Because I'm trying to figure out like how do I get sleep and how do I eat healthy and how do I run a business and how do I raise a child? And granted I'm not doing it alone, but it's like my husband also works full time and um so yeah, I think when I started off this year, I had one wedding. That's it. And I hadn't booked anybody for a really long time because this one client was actually I think they booked me last summer, so I've been planning with them for a while. Um, I had some like smaller events in the beginning of the year, like a birthday party and something else, and I was just feeling very like this is the end. Like you were saying, Gabby, like this is the end. I had a good 10-year run. Um, but yeah, I think I started to get some more inquiries and there's like an excitement and also you feel like reinvigorated, right? Like when you get a new inquiry, you're like, yes, I
Yeah.
do have a successful business. I got an inquiry, whether they book or not. And so I think I just started like getting some more inquiries. I was trying to change my mindset. And I've gotten some more over the last couple of months. I actually booked another wedding for this year. So I have two this fall. And then I have one for next year right now in the spring. And then I have a potential for next like fall of 2026. So it's feeling good. I think though the two weddings, actually three that I'm currently working on feels like a lot for me.
Mm.
So I feel like I'm okay right now until like those fall ones are kind of like almost done, then I'd be okay booking more. Because right now it's hard to balance, especially one of my fall weddings, like they just started planning, so
Mm.
it's a lot is happening. Um, and it's hard. Like it's an October date, everyone is booked, and so it's like really trying to find those vendors. But all that to say, I'm feeling better. Like our podcast, I feel like we're putting a lot of time and effort into, and that's going really well. You know, Gabby and I have started making money, and it's a small amount, but we have, and like it's something to be really proud of, and
Yeah.
we feel like we're putting more effort into that. So I feel a lot better right now than I did in the first half of this year because I was really feeling like maybe this is it. And I've been wanting to pull back a little bit
Mhm.
anyway and not take on as many clients and figure out what the future looks like. So I think I'm in a good spot for right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm trying to take on your manifesting mindset. Um, it is helpful because I think at some point you kind of wake up and you're like, I don't want to keep living in this like lack mindset, this negativity. And I think it really does play a part because when I think back to years past where I was so busy and like inquiries were coming in, and you're just like booking clients kind of on autopilot
Mhm.
because you're so busy. And then you're like, oh, great, someone else just booked me because you're not thinking about it. And you're like, if they book, great. If they don't, it's fine. Like I'm busy. And I think it was just like a confidence and like an abundance mindset that was sort of there because your business is running well, right?
Yeah.
So it's like holding on to that when it's a slow
Yeah.
season too.
Yeah. That's the hardest part is when you're feeling really defeated to try to get yourself out of it and just keep thinking that you just have to trust that it will work out in the end, and also you can't just think about it and sit and wait. You have to take an action, towards it. And I think like the example of the podcast is such a great example. When we started this, we were both like, we cannot expect to wake up tomorrow and make millions. We are not Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy. Shout out to her if you haven't seen her documentary. Like she's a girl's girl. Love what she has to say. And anyway, but she sold or not, she has her podcast with Sirius XM now for $125 million. Like we're gonna get there, guys. We are, but not the first episode we launch. And so it's just been kind of we've had to set ourselves mini goals, right? Like we've had to say we have to be consistent. That's the first thing is like we have to make sure we have an episode that goes out every other week because every week was not going to work for us because you're a mom and we run businesses and we have lives. Like we had to be really reasonable with what we could do. Um, but look at us. We also took the leap in asking people for sponsorships in a way that felt like us and that felt right and felt reasonable for them and what we could give back to them. And a lot of very smart people took us up on that offer. And we've seen actually, we saw one of our past speakers who sponsored an episode. We sold one of her
Oh yeah.
programs.
Hmm.
So that's fun. She got her return right back. So anyway, it's just been cool to play with that a little bit and to figure out little bite-size goals that we can reach as we grow. And our numbers have been going up. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all we can ask for is that
Yeah.
listenership goes up, and that we actually get like comments and reviews and people text us and DM us saying like, we love listening to you guys. So anyway,
And I
enough
think the
of,
power, the
yeah,
power of asking, right? Because
yeah.
Gabby and I never would have gotten these sponsorships if we didn't just ask, the people that have been on the episodes. Because a lot of these people are like, would love to support you, happy to
Hmm.
do that. I know you're like in the beginning phase. So I think there's such a power in just like putting yourself out there and asking people for something. Because like the worst they could have said, which some people haven't even responded when we're like,
Right.
would you like to sponsor your episode? And it's like they don't say anything. So, which is totally fine, but the people that have given to us, it like it's motivation for us to be like, let's ask the next person or our group of vendors that we know if they want to support us. So, I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of power in that too.
Yeah. Um, Carrie, I'm bouncing around to, I know we have listed some questions that we were going to talk about,
Yeah.
but I want to bounce around a bit. What are some things that you're letting go of in the like maybe second
Oh.
half of the year? It could be maybe some old goals that you kind of had set earlier in the year that you're like, you know what, this doesn't even serve me anymore. Or people pleasing tendencies, or saying yes instead of saying no, or saying no instead of yes. Like, what are some things that come to mind?
I was thinking about this the other day. I think for me, well, before I became a mom, it was like I literally sit at my desk from like 9 to 6, 7 o'clock at night, right? Like throughout the day, you're kind of just like, I'm just working nonstop throughout the day. And I would feel really guilty for not working during this typical work day
Mm.
if I was like out doing something else. Even though I'm like, I can create my own schedule and work whenever I feel like it. But I think I felt like more of an obligation to my clients to always be like available and on throughout the day, even if they weren't emailing me. It was like I had this like inner thing telling me like you must be working. I feel different about that now, and I think for me, like I'm trying to find pockets throughout the day of working, and sometimes it's like I'm working later at night, but I'm still like showing up for my clients, and I think I'm letting go of some of the like expectations that I felt from clients, even if it wasn't like a reality of like what they actually felt. I think I'm starting to let go of like I get to make my own schedule. I get to show up how I want, run my business when I want. Um, And that's been really helpful for me just to sort of like take a step back. And I think it allows me to say no to things that I don't really want to do. Or even right now, I'm like, my time feels more valuable. So
Mhm.
I'm not gonna like take on a client that doesn't feel aligned or they're not w wanting to pay my price point. I'm just like, okay, sorry, like I don't lower my prices. So I think that's been really helpful, just kind of like letting go of this external pressure that I was constantly feeling. Um, and I feel like in a better space because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to agree with you on the letting go. And I think what's cool for you, you almost have been forced to do this because you had a child and it's going to take priority over the business. And there's times that you just literally cannot be at your computer doing emails. And so your clients have had to wait for responses. But like their wedding still happened, the world
Yeah.
didn't burst into flames. Like, why I do wonder why is it that we are so hard on ourselves in that work life boundary is so hard for us, whereas we know other vendors too that maybe have just different personalities. We don't hear from them for 4 days, but they have an out of office on that says like, "Hey, I'm on vacation. I'm not checking my email." But
Yeah.
like, why can't I do that? Why
Yeah.
is that so freaking hard?
And I think I've also let go of having these like huge revenue goals because
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a different season of life and we want to keep growing our family. And so I'm like, I can still have a successful business and bring in money for our family, but it's maybe not the high six figures that, I was hoping to achieve or back in the six figures that I was doing years
Yeah.
ago. And it's like these seasons look different. Doesn't mean my business is failing, but it's just, and it's an adjustment, right? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I am bringing in less money, but I still have a successful business. And honestly, no one on the outside knows that I'm not taking on as many clients. Like, yeah,
No.
and I tell people like we take on limited clients per year, but that's also because I don't have the luxury of time to give to 10 full planning clients. I'm like, I can take on like 4 to 5 full planning clients. So I think also just letting go of these expectations and like this is just a different chapter and I'm maybe not making as much money right now and that's okay. And some of it feels a lot larger and I'm like it's literally been 10 months. Like it's not
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that long of a period that things have felt different. But it is hard when you're in those slow seasons to feel like this is going to be forever.
Yeah. And I like that you said it's not like yeah, it's a season. It's not necessarily that the business failed by any means. It's a slight pivot for this time of life that you're in. And it made me think of a planner friend who she does listen to our podcast. So shout out to her. She knows I won't name names, but I thought this story was really interesting. She is a wedding planner, but she was also had a very big corporate job in the past. And she recently was asked to go back to this corporate job for like a short term of 6 months, but the pay was going to be incredible, more than she could have imagined for a quick 6 month contract. And she really at the time felt like she was giving up on her business and quitting and failing if she took this job. But I like when she talked about it in a group, I was like, girl, this is brilliant. Like, good for you for being so in demand that this company
Mhm.
is going to pay you this crazy amount for a 6 month period. And you can leave after 6 months, or they said they can extend it. Why not do both if you can? Or, um, work on getting the income, this big chunk of income, and then giving you so much more time to like fine tune the business after that and
Yeah.
slowly ease your way back into it without feeling like you're so dependent on the business making money. And I think that's what like is so beautiful, especially also for couples that are the other partner has this stable income that allows the business owner to take a breath a little bit and rely on the partner for that stable income if there was a season like we're talking about now that's a little bit slower. And not everyone has the luxury of having a partner that's that's like that. Like my husband and I are both business owners, and so his is actually doing really well right now. And I'm like, okay, you need to carry us for the next few months
I
because
have one wedding
I
next
have
year.
one wedding. And actually, I've been telling him, I was like, I'd actually love to work in your company a little bit more next year. It'll give me a break from actually doing
Yeah.
weddings. And he's on the event rental side of things. And I love doing like contracts and proposals and like organizing. Okay, you have a delivery at 10 a.m. and then you have to drive 32 miles. Then you have a delivery at 11:30. So like I love doing that stuff and I can stay home and do that.
Yeah.
And I would love to, like, I'm saying this out loud, and I can understand like the more I say this out loud, the more the universe is hearing me being like, oh, you're saying you don't want weddings? Well, let me just correct that. I don't want to personally do the weddings, but I want my business to get weddings so that my team has weddings to do and plan. And I will make a percentage of that, but I don't want to physically be doing the weddings moving forward
Well,
as
I was
much.
going to bring that up because, yeah, you had mentioned that you didn't want to do weddings personally anymore. And I was like, this feels like I mean, granted, you want your business to get
Right,
more weddings
right.
booked, but it really is like the universe speaking to you. And that's
Hmm.
how like, my husband and I talked about that. Like, when I had my daughter, and like nobody was really booking, and it's like the universe was like telling me like you've been wanting to do something else for a while, like work on your podcast or whatever other business you want to do. And so, but it's hard, right, when you are used to making an income a certain way and it's like what you've been doing for a decade. So yeah, you got to go with the changes and like be
I
open
know.
to what might be next.
Yeah. And speaking of next, let's talk about what our mid-year reset plan will be moving forward. And I know we're in July, we're more than the year. And like I said in a past episode, I'm still working on my 2025 goals.
It's okay. It's okay.
But I did do a vision board last week. I
Okay.
literally did my vision board on just a little 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, and it feels good. It's a lot of it says like life of luxury, like
Mhm.
wealth. There's a yacht photo. There's a woman on vacation. There's like, so I'm very much wanting to live this wealthy life of luxury, but also in like my small country home here and just have a slower pace of life, more balance. But I also want to be able to go out and fly first class, you know? So,
Yeah.
in order for that to happen, my business needs to book more weddings.
That or the podcast. I
That are
mean,
true,
look,
true.
there's
Sirius
more than one way
XM.
to make money.
Yeah, yeah. We're willing to do a Spotify deal or Sirius XM, whoever approaches us first.
So do you feel, yeah, I mean, I guess you have other goals that you're letting go of and new ones that you're kind of putting into place?
I mean, I think with like I'm with you. I'm trying to let go. I'm implementing more boundaries, letting go of the people pleasing and focusing on what I want. I think we talked about, well, you know more of this story, but our listeners may not know the whole story. But essentially I had a big turnaround of team turnaround in late 2024 that really kind of destabilize things is maybe the best way of putting it. And but it also made me go back to looking at my books and looking at my processes and looking at my team structure and me. And I was like, holy crap, I am underpaying myself and I am prioritizing everybody else on my team except for me. And I think it goes back to people pleasing. I want the team to be happy. And I give in what I thought I was giving through financial pay that the business wasn't profitable at the end of the year and I wasn't making a lot. And so, anyways, this whole thing that just made me realize like, it's my business. I get to decide how I want it to go. And I want people to be paid fairly, but I also know that there are amazing planners out there who are willing to work at a reasonable cost. And I am also not a multi-million dollar production company and I cannot be paying, six-figure salaries to people. And so, yeah, I just had, a big come to Jesus in that sense for my business. And so I'm working on me. I'm working on prioritizing myself in the business and where I want it to go and
Mhm.
staying as the visionary. I like dreaming big and thinking ahead of plans like that. Um, and also, just side note about branding, I just recently chat GPT and I had a great conversation the other day,
Chatty
and
G.
Chatty G, and I told it I was like, I don't want to do like boho festival weddings anymore, which was my brand for a very long time. The core of my brand is that I want to do experiential full weekends. Like, I'm not just coming in for a day. I'm like,
Mhm.
we are talking about the experience your guests are going to get from the moment they get on the shuttle at the airport and are getting brought to this amazing dream location in the middle of the desert, all the way to the very last second they get dropped off at the airport with a snack, you know? And I just want to curate those details. And I got to experience that this past May. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is what I want. It has nothing to do necessarily with glamping or festivals or anything like that, although that will probably come up from time to time. But I just basically have reworded my website a little bit more so that I do attract that luxury client and that wants the full experience, not just the glamping luxury
Yeah.
experience, you know?
Yeah. No, I feel that. I think I kind of got reinvigorated as I booked a few more of these new clients because the one that I have this fall is in Palm Springs at Villa Royale, and it's a weekend
Ooh.
event. And I did this a couple years ago. Same sort of thing, a weekend event there, and I like love that hotel. And it's really like fun for me. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, I love being able to create more of like an experience and really hone in on the design and like what guests are gonna feel when they're there versus like these like 1 day weddings where I was just like
Yeah.
working at the same venue. And this kind of like re-inspired me to be like, yeah, I want to take on like a few clients a year where we're really creating like a fun experiential weekend. Even if it is at a local, venue, but it's like we get to like have all these moments. They have the budget for that. And so that is something that I feel like is way more fun. Because that's like a fun client too, right? They're like, yeah, let's do that. Or like we want to incorporate these like weird, fun like experiences. So I think even for me, kind of this mid-year reset is focusing more on clients like that. Still taking on fewer clients, but also trying to work on switching my mindset. And I guess kind of I like earlier in the year, I really had to go through and I like cut a lot of stuff out that I was like, okay, I'm paying for this, but I like just don't have the budget for it anymore. And it's been like really healthy for me. I feel like also getting your finances in check with your business just feels really good and like allows you to move forward with a better mindset. So that was really helpful too. But I think for me, it's like finding a beautiful balance of like being a mom, having this business, and also there's like some other directions that I want to go in with a business that allows me to stay home more full time, and not maybe be so beholden to like clients and their emails and deadlines and things like that. So also just still kind of like dreaming and working on learning how to get these other businesses off the ground that might be more fulfilling for me as I continue to evolve and to like a different chapter of life. So it's exciting. I think it's nice to have these clients right now to help support financially,
Hmm.
like myself, my family, but also continue to keep dreaming about what else I want to do with my life.
Yeah. That's good. As long as we always have something to look forward to, you know,
Yeah.
and something that we can still dream about and move forward. And I like these yearly check-ins, or I guess bi-yearly. We should do one at the end of the year to see how we did because we can look back on this and be like, remember how we were panicking in July? And look at us
Yeah.
now in December and all is well again. We just always panic in the summer. So
I'd also like to point out, I feel like Gabby and I's mid-year check-in last year was very depressing. Like
that's true.
we were like, "Oh my God, what is happening?" Like I think we both felt very like overwhelmed because we were
Yeah.
busy, but also like things just felt hard and
Yeah.
we like weren't really hitting our goals. Because I remember ending the episode and we are like, well, that wasn't very positive, but
It's so true.
but I,
That's
I
so
feel like we're
true.
both in such a different space and like our
Yeah.
podcast has this, this podcast has done so much better. And like even though it's small growth, like it's
Yeah.
something to be proud of and the work that we put in. Um, and it makes me be like, yeah, we're gonna do some big things. So I'm
Yep.
excited about it.
I
And
think
I
so.
think it would be great to challenge, our listeners. I love what you said you were doing, Gabby. Even if it's a 7-day challenge, like to sit down and open up a journal or whatever, a piece of paper on your desk and just write about money coming in and abundance mindset and see how it helps you in a week. Like, do you feel more positive? Do you
Yeah.
feel like you can achieve your goals? Like, I think having those like daily mantras really does change your mindset and how you approach everyday life in your business.
Yeah. And I think it's easy to move so quickly in a week that you don't even realize, oh, I got like 3 client payments come in. And then I got a gift card from a review that I wrote, and they were so thankful for the review, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And giving like reviews as an example, something else I've been trying to do is not only track like what I get in, but take the time to give every day. And that could be as simple as a review to some of our favorite wedding vendors. And so this morning, I was waiting for my gym class to start, and I was like, you know what? I had a wedding a few weeks ago. I loved that florist. Let me go quickly write a review. It took like 28 seconds. I had some photos on my phone from the florals from that wedding. I uploaded it and I shared that. And I think like, how fun will that be for that person to receive that in their inbox today? And if that were to happen to me, it would go in my journal of abundance, being like, I received a review today. I didn't ask for it. It came out of nowhere. I'm so grateful that that happened and someone remembered me today and enjoyed working with me. So that's another thing too, is like track what you receive, but also give unexpectedly, perhaps.
Mhm.
And I can only imagine that it will come back tenfold, right? Like that's
Yeah,
pretty much the law of attraction.
for sure. And that I feel like is such a good point to link back to the other week's episode about SEO because Sarah talks about getting reviews from other vendors in your
Yes.
industry. It doesn't have to just be a paying client to help your Google ranking. And so I think it's like such a gift, right? You're not only giving them a review, but helping with their SEO and like linking them to, other people in the industry. So
Yeah.
it's a gift all around.
Heck yeah. And can we end this episode by giving a shout out to our paid subscribers on Substack? We, as the time that we're recording this, we have one. But I want to shout out Kari because Kari is the definition of supporting others and lifting your community up. Kari has also supported me financially on YouTube. She's been a paid subscriber on my YouTube channel. She's over here doing the $5 a month on our Substack. And I'm like, this girl is giving. And so, first of all, I'm going to go write a 5-star review for Kate for Carrie's business because she does wedding planning and also content creation. And my company has hired her for an upcoming wedding in Utah. We needed 2 talented extra hand wedding planner team members, and so her and one of her assistants were flying them out to Utah. And so I'm like excited to bring it all for full circle, but um I don't know. That just goes to show like these people are taking time and they're being super supportive. And of course, anybody who's written a review, that goes a long way too. 5 stars all around is like super, super helpful and it's free. So we don't ever expect everyone to give financially because it's not possible for everybody. But I don't know. I think it's so cool that our community is so supportive.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, if you don't want to do the 7-day challenge, we'll give you a simple 1-day challenge of go give somebody something and then write down what you get back that day.
True. True.
Yeah.
This was awesome. I'm so glad we did a check-in. We always think
Yeah.
it's going to be a mini-sode, but we always have so much to share. I think our audience loves these check-ins though, because I'm hoping you guys can also relate with that and you know this business ebbs and flows. It's we're on a high. When we're high, we are high. But when we're
Mhm.
low, we're all questioning our existence. And so know that we are too, and it's okay. We're all going to get through it, and we're just going to move forward in not lack, not living in lack, but living in abundance and manifesting and putting it out there exactly what we want to have happen. And Carrie, let's do another check-in at the end of the
Yeah,
year and see
I love it.
what all happened.
I was gonna say those lows are low, and we see you. You're all trying to look for a corporate job, but don't do it. Do not do it. You've got this. We're only halfway through. Like, think about how much has happened in the first 6, 7 months of this year. And just like how things can turn around and be different the rest of the year.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you in 2 weeks. And if you want extra content on Substack, we are doing one bonus episode on there. We spill the tea on a lot of stuff. So we'd love to see you over there. And thanks so much for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.